Commander Vexstar stared at the tactical display in growing disbelief. What should have been a 6-hour conquest had turned into a 12-hour nightmare. His supposedly superior forces had been systematically dismantled by human soldiers, using weapons his experts had dismissed as obsolete. "Sir, we've lost 63% of our ground forces," Sub-Commander Krill reported, his voice strained. "The humans have established overlapping fields of fire across every approach route. Our soldiers can't advance without coming under precision fire from concealed positions." "How many human casualties?" Vexstar asked, dreading the answer. 17 confirmed, sir. 17 human soldiers have neutralized over 400 of our warriors." The bridge fell silent. In 4 decades of military service, Vexstar had never experienced anything like this. The mathematics alone seemed impossible. Tactical Officer Nash studied the combat recordings with growing respect. "Sir, these human snipers aren't just shooting randomly. They're coordinating their fire, sharing intelligence, and adapting their tactics in real time. When we adjust our approach, they counter immediately. Show me the latest engagement recordings." The main screen displayed footage from a Catherian soldier's helmet camera. The view showed a human sniper position on a distant ridgeline, barely visible even with enhanced alien vision. "Computer, enhance and magnify target area," Nash commanded. The image zoomed in, revealing a human soldier in camouflage clothing, perfectly positioned among natural terrain features. The human was nearly invisible until the moment of firing. "Watch this, sir." The human fires, then immediately displaces to a new position. The footage showed the muzzle flash, followed by the soldier rolling away from the firing position and disappearing into the landscape. By the time Catherian forces could respond, the sniper was gone. "So they're not just accurate, they're invisible. Our thermal sensors can't distinguish them from background terrain. Our movement detectors can't track them when they're stationary. And when they move, they use natural cover so effectively that our targeting systems lose lock." Communications Officer Zeph interrupted with an urgent transmission. "Sir, we're receiving a communication from the human military commander. On screen." Colonel Thompson appeared on the main display, his uniform dusty but his bearing confident. "Commander Vexstar, I believe you wanted to discuss our primitive weapons." Vexstar found himself in the unusual position of speaking to an enemy who had demonstrated clear superiority. "Colonel Thompson, your weapons are more effective than our intelligence indicated." "Our weapons are exactly what we told you they were. Chemically propelled projectiles. The difference is the soldiers using them." "How?" Vexstar asked bluntly. "How are your people achieving precision at ranges we considered impossible with such primitive technology?" Colonel Thompson smiled. "Commander, what you call primitive, we call refined. These rifles have been perfected over centuries of warfare. The techniques our snipers use have been developed and tested in conflicts across our world. Every shot they take represents thousands of hours of training and real combat experience." Elena Rodriguez had been monitoring the communication from her current hide position. Through her scope, she could see alien forces regrouping in the valley below, trying to establish a defensive perimeter. "Command, this is Eagle Eye 1. I have visual on the alien command post. Range, 1,400 meters. Eagle Eye 1, hold fire for now. We're in negotiations." Elena maintained her sight picture on the alien commander's position while listening to the conversation between Colonel Thompson and the enemy leader through her radio. She heard the alien commander asking questions about human sniper training, tactics, and equipment capabilities. What surprised her was the tone no longer dismissive, but genuinely seeking to understand. "Colonel Thompson," Vexstar was saying, "our intelligence indicated that your longest-range weapons could engage at perhaps 2 kilometers under ideal conditions." "That's technically correct, Commander. Our standard engagement ranges are typically much shorter, but you're dealing with some of our best marksmen and they're defending their homeworld. They're operating at the absolute peak of human capability." Elena smiled at that. She'd made shots at ranges the aliens probably hadn't even considered possible with primitive projectile weapons. Master Sergeant Williams. positioned in urban terrain, had been listening to the same conversation. She'd spent the day demonstrating that human snipers could operate effectively in any environment, using creativity and fieldcraft to overcome technological disadvantages. Command, this is Ghost 27. I've observed the aliens attempting to adapt their tactics throughout the day. They learn fast, but they're thinking like soldiers who depend on technology rather than soldiers who depend on skill. The conversation between the two commanders continued, with Colonel Thompson explaining human military philosophy. Commander, your forces rely on technological superiority. Energy weapons, personal shields, advanced targeting systems. When that technology fails or proves insufficient, your soldiers don't have alternative skills to fall back on. And your soldiers do? Our snipers train for scenarios where their scopes fail, where environmental conditions prevent electronic aids from functioning, where they have to rely on fundamental marksmanship skills developed over years of practice. Technology enhances their capabilities, but skill is their foundation. Vexstar was beginning to understand. You're saying that human soldiers are more adaptable? I'm saying that human warfare has always been about using intelligence to overcome superior force. We've fought each other for millennia using increasingly sophisticated weapons and tactics. What you see as primitive technology, we see as proven reliability. Elena adjusted her position slightly, maintaining her sight picture while the conversation continued. She could see alien soldiers in the valley below, and their body language had changed completely. Where they'd started the day with confident, almost arrogant movement, they now move cautiously, constantly checking potential sniper positions. Staff Sergeant Chun reported in from his position. Command, I'm observing interesting behavior changes in alien patrol patterns. They're now moving exactly like soldiers who respect the threat of precision fire. They understand they're being hunted. The tactical dynamic had shifted completely. The aliens, who'd started with overwhelming technological advantage, were now pinned down by an enemy they couldn't effectively locate or counter. Commander Vexstar, Colonel Thompson continued, your soldiers are trained to fight enemies with similar technology levels. They've probably never faced an opponent who uses completely different tactical principles. That appears to be accurate, Colonel. Our snipers aren't trying to match your technology. They're using patience, precision, and fieldcraft to turn your advantages into liabilities. Your shields work great against energy weapons, but they're optimized for the wrong threat. Your targeting systems are sophisticated, but they're designed to track active electronic signatures, not passive optical observation. Elena could see through her scope that the aliens were attempting to establish new defensive positions. They'd learned to spread out, use natural cover, and avoid predictable movement patterns. The easy targets were gone, but human snipers adapted too. Jake, she whispered to her spotter, they're getting smarter down there. Yeah, but so are we. Look at team positioning. Elena glanced at her tactical display. Human sniper teams had repositioned throughout the day, creating interlocking fields of fire that covered every possible avenue of approach. What had started as individual hunters had evolved into a coordinated web of precision. Marksmen, the conversation between commanders was reaching a critical point. Commander, Colonel Thompson said, your technology is impressive, but warfare isn't just about having the best equipment. It's about adapting to unexpected challenges, using creativity to overcome obstacles, and never underestimating your opponent. It appears we have underestimated human military capability, Vexstar admitted. Not our military capability, Commander. You underestimated human adaptability. When we can't match superior technology, we change the rules of engagement. We fight in ways that turn your advantages into disadvantages. Through her scope, Elena watched as the aliens began a coordinated withdrawal. Their movement was professional now, showing respect for human capabilities they'd initially dismissed. All stations, this is command. Alien forces are conducting tactical withdrawal. Maintain overwatch, but do not pursue beyond established perimeters. Elena maintained her position, watching the aliens retreat. Through her radio, she heard the final exchange between commanders. Colonel Thompson, We came here expecting easy conquest of a primitive world. And instead, you found soldiers who've spent centuries perfecting the art of warfare. Commander, what you call primitive weapons, we call tools that have been tested in every possible combat situation. They work because they're simple, reliable, and in the hands of properly trained soldiers, devastatingly effective. We will be departing your system, Colonel. Understood, Commander. Safe travels. Elena watched through her scope as alien ships began lifting off from various positions around the battlefield. The invasion that was supposed to last 6 hours had ended with the invaders retreating after learning painful lessons about. Staff Sergeant Elena Rodriguez adjusted her position behind the Barrett M82A1 sniper rifle, watching through her scope as the alien forces advanced up the mountain slope. 3 years of training at the Army Sniper School, 2 combat tours, and countless hours on the range had prepared her for many things. Fighting technologically superior aliens with energy shields hadn't been on the curriculum. Distance to lead target, 800 meters and closing, she whispered into her radio. Wind, 3 knots from the southeast. Temperature, 22 degrees Celsius. Her spotter, Corporal Jake Morrison, lay beside her with high-powered binoculars. I count 20 hostiles in formation. Those shield things are glowing blue around each one. Elena had been briefed on the alien technology. Their personal shields supposedly deflected projectiles automatically. Their armor could withstand extreme temperatures, and their weapons fired superheated plasma. On paper, it sounded impossible to fight. Rodriguez, this is Overwatch, came the voice of Colonel Thompson through her earpiece. You're authorized to engage at your discretion. Make every shot count. Elena steadied her breathing and studied the aliens through her scope. They moved in tight formation, confident and unhurried. Their leader walked in front, gesturing with what appeared to be a scanning device. Jake, you see how they're moving? Yeah, like they own the place. No evasive maneuvers, no tactical spacing. They're walking straight up the hill like they're on parade. Elena smiled grimly. That's because they think our weapons can't hurt them. She selected her target carefully, the alien leader. Distinguished by different colored markings on his armor, the .50 caliber, armor-piercing round in her chamber had been designed to penetrate heavy vehicle armor. She wondered if alien shields had been tested against that specific application. Target acquired. Lead alien center mass. Elena controlled her breathing, feeling her heartbeat slow as she entered the zone every sniper knew. The world narrowed to the sight picture, wind calculation, and trigger control. She squeezed slowly, steadily, the Barrett roared, its massive report echoing across the mountainside. Through her scope, Elena watched the alien leader's shield flare bright blue as the .50 caliber round struck it. For a moment the shield held. Then, with a sound like breaking glass that somehow carried across the distance, the shield collapsed. The armor-piercing round continued its path, punching through the alien's chest armor and dropping him instantly. The alien formation stopped. Confusion evident even from 800 meters away. Holy shit, Jake whispered. You just killed their leader. Elena was already working the bolt action, chambering another round. 1 down, 19 to go. The remaining aliens scattered, their confidence evaporating. Elena tracked another target, a larger alien trying to reach cover behind a boulder. Second target, range 820. Another shot. Another shield overload. Another alien down. Through her radio, Elena heard similar reports from sniper teams positioned across the region. This is Wolfpack 2. Alien down at 600 meters. Ghost 1-1, confirmed kill at 900 meters. Their shields can't handle the impact. Iron Sight 3, 2 kills with consecutive shots. These things aren't as tough as advertised. Elena continued engaging targets with methodical precision. Each shot represented years of training, thousands of hours of practice, and intimate knowledge of ballistics, wind patterns, and target behavior. Commander Vexstar watched in growing alarm as his tactical display showed soldier after soldier going offline. What's happening down there? He demanded. Sub-Commander Krill frantically reviewed incoming data. Sir, our advanced units are reporting shield failures. The human projectiles are somehow overloading the defensive systems. That's impossible. Those shields can deflect meteors. Sir, we're getting video from helmet cameras. The main screen showed the view from a Catherian soldier's perspective. A human sniper was visible nearly a kilometer away, partially concealed behind rocks. The view jerked as the soldier raised his plasma rifle to return fire. The human fired first. The screen showed the blue flash of shield activation, followed immediately by shield collapse and system failure. The video feed went dark. How? Vexstar demanded. How are their primitive projectiles defeating our technology? Tactical Officer Nash pulled up shield specifications. Sir, our shields are designed to deflect fast-moving objects by dispersing their energy across the shield matrix. But these human weapons, they're not just throwing metal projectiles, explain. The humans are using what they call armor-piercing ammunition. Dense metal cores traveling at high velocity, specifically designed to concentrate kinetic energy into the smallest possible impact point. Our shields can handle a meteor because the energy disperses across a large impact area. These bullets focus all their energy into a tiny point. Vexstar stared at the tactical display showing more soldiers falling. You're telling me they've developed ammunition specifically designed to overcome energy shields? Not specifically, sir. They developed it to penetrate heavily armored vehicles. But the principle is the same. Concentrated kinetic energy overwhelming defensive systems. Elena Rodriguez had moved to her secondary position, a rocky outcrop with clear fields of fire across multiple approach routes. The aliens had begun moving more cautiously, using cover and attempting to coordinate their advance. Jake, they're learning. Yeah, but not fast enough. Elena watched through her scope as a group of aliens attempted to flank around a ridgeline. They moved from cover to cover, but their movements were predictable. Military tactics were universal, whether you were human or alien. Target right, behind the large boulder. He's going to break cover in 3.2.1. The alien sprinted toward the next position. Elena led the target, accounting for its speed and direction. Her shot caught the alien mid-stride, shield overloading and collapsing before the body hit the ground. Across the battlefield, other human snipers were demonstrating similar effectiveness. Staff Sergeant Mike Chun, positioned on a ridgeline 2 kilometers away, had achieved 7 consecutive kills using a Chaitak M200 intervention. His longest shot had been at 1,800 meters. Well beyond what the aliens considered possible for primitive weapons. Master Sergeant Sarah Williams had taken position in an abandoned building, using a Remington 700 with match-grade ammunition. Her understanding of urban sniper tactics allowed her to engage targets at multiple angles while remaining concealed from alien sensors designed to detect energy signatures rather than passive optical observation. The aliens' technological advantages were proving irrelevant against human marksmanship and tactical knowledge. Their plasma weapons, while devastating at short range, lacked the precision for long-distance engagement. Their targeting systems, designed to lock onto energy signatures, couldn't effectively track passive optical sights. Elena's radio crackled with updates from across the battlefield. Command. This is Raven's Nest. I've got visual on alien reinforcements moving up the North Valley. Approximately 50 hostiles. Copy, Raven's Nest. All stations adjust fire to support. These new contacts appear to be moving more tactically. Elena shifted her position to observe the new alien formation. These soldiers were advancing with better spacing, using natural cover effectively and maintaining communication discipline. They'd learned from watching their comrades fall. Jake, look at these new guys. They're not making the same mistakes. Think they figured out we're not using primitive weapons? I think they're starting to realize that primitive doesn't mean ineffective. Elena studied the alien movements, noting their approach patterns and likely advance routes. These soldiers were adapting, showing military intelligence and tactical flexibility. The easy targets were gone. All right, Jake, time to show them what real fieldcraft looks like. Elena began applying advanced sniper techniques, false muzzle flashes using reflective devices, multiple shooting positions to confuse enemy targeting, and coordinated fire with other sniper teams to create overlapping fields of fire. Commander Vexstar received reports that his easy conquest had turned into a strategic nightmare. Sir, we've lost 37% of our initial assault force, Krill reported grimly. The human snipers are engaging us from ranges we can't effectively counter. Can our soldiers get close enough to use plasma weapons effectively? Negative, sir. Every time they attempt to close distance, the humans eliminate them from concealed positions. Our soldiers can't locate the shooters until it's too late. Vexstar realized his fundamental assumption had been wrong. The humans weren't trying to match Catherian technology with superior technology. They were using precision, training, and tactical superiority to turn the battlefield into a shooting gallery. Sir, Nash reported, our remaining forces are requesting orbital fire support. On their own positions? No, sir, on suspected sniper locations. But the humans keep moving, and our orbital targeting can't discriminate individual soldiers from that altitude. Elena Rodriguez settled into her third shooting position of the day, having successfully avoided multiple alien attempts to locate her. Each position offered different advantages, angles of fire, concealment, and escape routes. Command. This is Eagle Eye 1. I count 15 aliens pinned down in the ravine, approximately 1,200 meters south of Hill 247. Copy, Eagle Eye 1. Can you Newt? Commander Vexstar of the Catherian Empire stood on the command bridge of his massive warship, watching the small blue planet below with barely concealed amusement. The third planet from this yellow star had been marked for conquest 3 cycles ago, but the High Command had deemed it so insignificant that they'd only now gotten around to claiming it. Sir, we're receiving another transmission from the surface dwellers, reported Communications Officer Zeph, her 4 arms working quickly across the control panel. They call themselves humans and are requesting we withdraw from their space. Vexstar's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his species. The Catherians had conquered 47 worlds in the past decade alone, each one falling within days of their arrival. Their plasma weapons could melt through the strongest known metals. Their shields could deflect any projectile-based weapon. And their soldiers were bred for war from birth. Show me their military assessment again, Vexstar commanded. The holographic display flickered to life, showing primitive human weapons and vehicles. Zeph highlighted each item with her lower set of arms while operating controls with her upper limbs. They still use chemically propelled projectiles, sir. Metal bullets fired by small explosions. Their largest weapons appear to be some kind of tube that launches bigger projectiles using the same primitive technology. Zeph paused at an image of human soldiers. Their infantry carries individual weapons that fire these metal projectiles one at a time. Metal projectiles, Vexstar repeated, his voice dripping with disdain. What are they, Stone Age primitives? Do they throw rocks next? The bridge crew erupted in chittering laughter. Sub-Commander Krill stepped forward, his massive frame casting a shadow across the display. Sir, our intelligence suggests their most advanced soldiers use something they call sniper rifles. These appear to be longer versions of their standard projectile weapons, designed to fire a single metal bullet at extended range. More laughter rippled through the bridge. Vexstar examined the images of human snipers lying prone with their rifles, 1 bullet at a time. Vexstar shook his head. Our plasma rifles can fire 60 rounds per minute, and each shot can punch through their heaviest armor. What damage could a single metal projectile possibly do to a Catherian warrior? Tactical Officer Nash pulled up comparative data on his screen. Sir, our personal shields can deflect meteors traveling at 17,000 kilometers per hour. These human bullets travel at perhaps 1/10 that speed. Our armor plating has been tested against plasma weapons that burn at 20,000 degrees. A small piece of metal moving through chemical propulsion couldn't even scratch the paint. And their aim? Vexstar inquired. Pathetic, sir. They require optical scopes to see their targets, unlike our enhanced vision. They can't possibly engage effectively beyond their visual range, and even then they have to account for wind, gravity, and rotation of their planet. Our targeting systems automatically adjust for all variables. Vexstar nodded approvingly. What about their numbers? Their entire military appears to be a fraction of our invasion force, sir. They have no orbital defenses worth mentioning, no energy weapons, and no shield technology. Based on our analysis, we estimate total conquest within 6 standard hours. 6 hours? Vexstar seemed almost disappointed. Perhaps we should make this interesting. Deploy only our ground forces initially. Let them experience the futility of their primitive weapons against Cytherian might before we glass their cities from orbit. Sir, are you certain? Standard protocol calls for immediate orbital bombardment. Sub-Commander Krill advised. Where's the sport in that, Krill? Besides, the High Command enjoys combat recordings. Let our warriors have some entertainment before we claim this world. Their sniper rifles should provide adequate amusement. Communications Officer Zeph received another transmission. Sir, the humans are demanding to know our intentions. They're mobilizing their military. Tell them we come to claim their world for the Cytherian Empire. If they surrender immediately, we may allow some to serve as laborers. If they resist, Vexstar gestured to the weapons array visible through the bridge's main viewport. Their primitive projectile weapons will serve as an interesting test for our newest armor designs. The main screen shifted to show human military bases around the planet. Vexstar observed soldiers rushing to positions, vehicles moving along roads, and aircraft taking off from airfields. Look at them scurrying about like tunnel dwellers when the nest is disturbed, Vexstar commented. Nash, what's the maximum range of their sniper weapons? Nash consulted his data. Approximately 2 kilometers, sir, under ideal conditions. Our infantry operates effectively at ranges up to 15 kilometers. And our personal shields activate automatically when any projectile is detected within 3 kilometers. So they're most dangerous. Soldiers would have to get within our minimum engagement range to pose any threat whatsoever, Vexstar mused. This should be over before it begins. Sub-Commander Krill studied the tactical display. Sir, they appear to be concentrating their forces around several key locations. Should we avoid these areas? Absolutely not. We'll land directly in their strongest defensive positions. Let them bring everything they have to bear. I want complete combat recordings of their weapons failing against our technology. The bridge crew prepared for planetary assault. Vexstar watched the pre-invasion briefing on his personal screen, noting the primitive nature of human civilization. Sir, Zeph announced, we're detecting radio communications between human military units. They're coordinating defensive positions. What are they saying? They're discussing something called effective range and target priority. They seem to believe they can engage our forces at distance. More chittering laughter filled the bridge. Tactical Officer Nash shook his head in amazement. Sir, they actually think their projectile weapons can threaten us. They're positioning their snipers in elevated locations and discussing long-range shots. They don't seem to understand that their bullets will simply bounce off our shields and armor. Vexstar examined images of human snipers setting up positions on rooftops and hills. They're spreading out individually instead of concentrating their forces. Even more foolish, our soldiers work in squads of 20 with overlapping shield coverage and coordinated plasma fire. These humans are isolating themselves. Sir, intelligence reports that human snipers often work alone or in pairs. They seem to believe individual marksmanship is more effective than concentrated firepower, Krill reported. Individual marksmanship, Vexstar repeated slowly. They actually believe one soldier with one projectile weapon can outmatch a Cytherian warrior equipped with plasma technology, energy shields, and enhanced targeting systems. The preparation continued as dropships loaded with Cytherian forces prepared for departure. Each soldier wore armor that had been tested against weapons far more advanced than anything humans possessed. Their shields could deflect multiple simultaneous impacts. and their plasma rifles could maintain sustained fire for hours. Sir, final equipment check shows all soldiers equipped with standard invasion gear. Plasma rifles, personal shield generators, enhanced armor, targeting systems, and communication arrays, reported Armaments Officer Quinn. Perfect. And our soldiers understand they're facing primitive projectile weapons? Yes, sir. They've been briefed on the amusing nature of human military technology. Many are looking forward to the experience of having bullets bounce off their shields. Vexstar turned to address his senior staff. Remember, we want detailed recordings of this engagement. The High Command will want to see how their latest shield technology performs against kinetic weapons. The humans are unknowingly providing us with valuable field test data. The main screen showed drop ships departing the mothership, heading toward the planet's surface. Vexstar settled into his command chair to observe what he expected to be a brief and one-sided demonstration of technological superiority. Time to contact? 18 minutes until our forces reach their first defensive position, sir. Excellent. Zeph, open a channel to all human military frequencies. Channel open, sir. Vexstar spoke directly to the humans below. Attention, primitive inhabitants of this world. You face the might of the Catherian Empire. Your projectile weapons are obsolete. Your tactics are inadequate. Surrender now, and some of you may be spared to serve your new masters. The human response came quickly. A voice speaking in clear, calm tones. This is Colonel Marcus Thompson, United States Army. You are in violation of Earth's sovereign territory. Withdraw immediately, or we will defend ourselves. Colonel Thompson, Vexstar replied, barely containing his amusement. Your metal bullets cannot penetrate our shields. Your primitive rifles cannot match our plasma weapons. You cannot win. Maybe not, Thompson's voice came back steady and confident. But we're going to give you a fight worth remembering. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge crew laughing at human bravado. Vexstar shook his head in amazement at their persistence. Sir, our forces are approaching the first human defensive positions. They're reporting visual contact with individual soldiers positioned at various elevations. Show me. The tactical display revealed human snipers scattered across a mountainous region, each positioned alone or in pairs. Catherian soldiers advanced in,